Ever wondered why your mind holds on to negative thoughts? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into the fascinating science behind why our brains are wired for negativity. On average, a person has between 60,000 and 120,000 different thoughts each day, and 95% of them are the same as the ones they had yesterday. This means that most of our thoughts are repetitive, and 80% of them are negative. Whether we like it or not, our minds have a greater tendency to focus on negative thoughts. In psychology, this tendency is called negativity bias. Let me explain. Negativity bias is a characteristic of the human mind. It's a trait we all share. It means it's not just your mind that obsessively focuses on negative events. We all do. Evolutionarily speaking, our minds have evolved to pay more attention to negative occurrences. In 1998, researchers Tiffany A. Nicole K. and John T. Cacioppo published a study titled Negative Information Weighs More Heavily on the Brain: The Negativity Bias in Evaluative Categorizations. In this study, participants viewed positive, negative, and neutral images. While their event-related brain potentials were recorded, the findings indicated that negative images elicited larger amplitude late positive brain potentials compared to positive and neutral images, suggesting a stronger neural response to negative stimuli. That's why you and I remember an insult from 15 years ago, but completely forget a compliment or praise we received last week. A painful childhood memory feels as fresh as if it happened yesterday. But the happy and pleasant events from the same period are completely erased from our minds. Or, for example, when you accomplish 20 good things during the day but mess up one. When you get home, that one mistake is what sticks with you. The rest get forgotten along the way. If you look at your own personal experiences, you'll surely notice plenty of examples of the mind's negativity bias. But why? Why does our brain prioritize negative events over positive ones? To answer this, we have to go back in time, at least 100,000 years ago, when our ancestors lived in forests, plains, and caves among animals that were stronger, faster, and bigger than them. One of the smartest traits of humankind that ensured its survival and kept it alive was this very trait of negativity bias. This fear, this constant looking around for potential danger. Imagine one of our ancestors sitting at the entrance of a cave and suddenly hearing a noise from behind a tree. If they thought, "Oh, it must have been the wind," and it turned out, nope, it was a hungry leopard, well, they'd get eaten, and their lineage would end right there. But if, after hearing the sound, they immediately grabbed their spear, called the others, and prepared for defense, they'd most likely survive, and their lineage would continue. So, those people who were overly positive and carefree were the ones who got eaten, and their lineage didn't carry on. We are the descendants of those who were scared, who worried, who constantly scanned their surroundings for threats. They were the ones who survived. They were the ones who ensured their existence, and we inherited our minds from those who took their negative thoughts seriously. But here's the problem. The same mind that once ensured human survival is now making our lives miserable. The world has changed rapidly and drastically over the past few centuries. But our minds haven't changed. That's why we are still using the same old cave-dwelling tactics to navigate the modern world. Here's another example. In ancient times, we lived in small tribes of about 20 to 30 people. Back then, being liked by every member of the tribe was a matter of life and death. Because if two people disliked you, they could convince others, and eventually, you'd be exiled from the tribe, which could mean death. But today, two people not liking you means absolutely nothing. And yet, our brain still treats social rejection as if it's a life-threatening situation. In general, today's world is much safer than the prehistoric one. Most of the challenges we face today are not life-or-death situations. Getting a bad grade on some exam isn't a life-or-death issue. Losing your job doesn't threaten your survival. Your friend not answering your call or not inviting you to their party doesn't put your existence at risk. But the mind is still looking at the world through that lens, still viewing the events around us, and still reacts as if they are existential threats. Quick side note, This is why news media constantly focus on negative stories: war, conspiracies, earthquakes. Research shows that people barely react to positive news. So, in short, if left unchecked, your mind will automatically focus on bad things. It will dwell on worries about the future and regrets from the past. It will keep replaying negative experiences, producing endless thoughts about them. And that's completely normal. Our mind has a tendency toward negative thoughts, but that doesn't mean we're doomed to them. What it means is that it's our job to bring balance between the positive and negative aspects of life. In every moment of life, there are several reasons to be happy and several reasons to be upset. But for all the reasons we've discussed so far, our mind automatically gravitates toward the bad news. The worries, the regrets, the bitter experiences, not because it's out to get us, but simply because, over hundreds of thousands of years, it's learned that this is how to protect us. The mind's job is to keep us alive, not to keep us happy. And it does this job in the best way possible by focusing on the negative events around us. On the other hand, it's our job to step in consciously, to understand how this mechanism of the mind works, and every now and then pull the mind toward the positive things in life. In fact, that's the whole point of gratitude. We're basically neutralizing this negative bias of the mind by redirecting our attention to the good things we have in our lives. Now that we've brought it up right here, right now, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, relax your body, and think of 3 things you're grateful for in this moment. Bring that warm feeling of gratitude into your body and feel it. Now that we've gotten familiar with negativity bias, you might be wondering, okay, so how do we resist this tendency of the mind? How do we bring balance and harmony back to it? As usual, the first step is always awareness, knowing that our mind just works this way. It pays more attention to negative thoughts. So it's no surprise that I have so many worries and regrets, or that bad memories keep popping up. To reach this awareness, attention is key. Throughout the day, check in with yourself a few times. See what your thoughts are, notice where your attention is, observe what sentences are repeating in your mind. At this stage, there's no effort to change anything. The goal is simply to bring attention and awareness to the contents of your mind. One of the best ways to cultivate this awareness is journaling. Why? Because when we write, we can, for example, break down an experience from yesterday, piece by piece, and notice where we got caught up in this negativity bias game of the mind. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support means the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay awesome and take care.